Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. It's August 25th, 2024. And we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 18. That's 10 to 18. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat utamash loke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 18. We're here at Gopal Eco Village at Pine Lake Retreat in Groveland, Florida. Okay. So, Tata Jagat Mangalam Achyuta Amsham Samhahitam Sura Sutena Devi Dadhara Sarva Atmakam Atmabhutam Kashta Yatha Anandakaram Manasta Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutam Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi Tatara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutam Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi Tadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutam Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi Tadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutam Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi Tadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta
Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutamsam
Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutam
Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi
Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi
Dadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam
Dadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam
Kashtayatananda Karam Manastaha
Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 18. At Text 18, we're at Gopal Eco Village at Pine Lake Retreat in Groveland, Florida. Tata
Thereafter,
Jagat Mangalam,
Jagat Mangalam,
auspiciousness
auspiciousness
for all living entities and all the universes of the creation.
for all living entities and all the universes of the creation.
Achyuta Amsham,
Achyutamsham,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
who is never bereft of the six opulences,
who is never bereft of the six opulences,
all of which are present in all his plenary expansions.
all of which are present in all his plenary expansions.
Samahitam,
Samadham,
fully transferred.
truly transferred.
Shurasutena,
Surasena,
by Vasudev, the son of Surasena.
Vasudeva, the son of Surasena.
Devi,
Devi,
Devaki Devi,
Devaki Devi,
Dadhara,
Dadhara,
carried.
Adi,
Sarva Atmakam,
Sarva Atmakam,
the supreme soul of everyone.
supreme soul of everyone.
Atmabhutam,
Atmabhuta,
the cause of all causes.
the cause of all causes.
Kashta,
Kashta,
the east.
the east.
Yata,
Yatha,
just as.
just as.
Anandakaram,
Anandakara,
the blissful moon.
the blissful moon.
Manasta,
Manasa,
being placed within the mind.
being placed within the mind.
Translation. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudev to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudev, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As indicated here by the word Manasta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was transferred from the core of Vasudev's mind or heart to the core of the heart of Devaki. We should note carefully that the Lord was transferred to Devaki not by the ordinary way for a human being, but by Diksha, initiation. Thus, the importance of initiation is mentioned here. Unless one is initiated by the right person, who always carries within his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot acquire the power to carry the Supreme Godhead within the core of one's own heart. The word Achyutamsha is used because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sad Aishvarya Purna, full in the opulences of wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. The Supreme Godhead is never separated from his personal opulences. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.39, Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amainatistan, the Lord is always situated with all his plenary expansions, such as Raman, Nrsinga, and Varaha. Therefore, the word Achyutamsham is specifically used here, signifying that the Lord is always present with his plenary expansions and opulences. There is no need to think of the Lord artificially as yogis do. Dhinavastita tadgatena manasa pashanti yam yogina. That's from Bhagavatam 12.13.1. Yogis meditate upon the Supreme Person within the mind. For a devotee, however, the Lord is present, and his presence need only be awakened through initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord did not need to live within the womb of Devaki, for his presence within the core of her heart was sufficient to carry him. One is here forbidden to think that Krishna was begotten by Vasudev within the womb of Devaki and that she carried the child within her womb. When Vasudev was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like the glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord situated in the pure heart form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere, and specifically within the heart, is called Dham. Dham refers not only to Krishna's form, but to his name, his form, his quality, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as the setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the conditions of the ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayan and incarnations like Lord Nrsimha and Varaha, are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second and the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the Absolute Truth, but because she was within the house of Kamsa, she looked just like a suppressed fire or like misused education. When fire is covered by the walls of a pot or is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Commenting upon this verse, Sri Viraragava Acharya writes, Vasudeva Devaki Jatarayor Vidayor Bhagavata Sambandha. The Supreme Lord's entrance into the womb of Devaki from the heart of Vasudeva was a heart-to-heart relationship. A heart-to-heart relationship. Om Mangyanatimmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayamupakadamayam Darati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanas Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshvare Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Yubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyeva Cha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10 Chapter 2 entitled Prayers by the Demigods. Text 18 Tato Jagan Mangalamachutam Samahitam Sura Sutena Devi Dathara Sarvat Makam Atma Bhutam Kashtayatananda Karam Manasta. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. So yesterday, Nityagopal led class in discussion and he led from the well-known verse from Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma me divyam eva miyoveti tatpata takvidam punarjama neti mameti surjuna, where Krishna speaks about like one who really realizes the transcendental nature of his pastimes, his appearance, activities, and disappearance, achieves perfection and comes back to Krishna. During the class, Nichigopal referenced this verse in purport, so I thought it's appropriate to read. We're here at Gopal Eco Village, and tomorrow is Janmashtami. So this verse in purport to me seems like an ideal verse to study here, like in pre-Janmashtami, the day before Janmashtami, because like what we read here about Krishna fully in the heart of Vasudeva being transferred to the heart of Devaki. That's not usually what we think of as the appearance of Krishna. It is an appearance, but it's kind of like the pre-appearance. And then a little bit later in the 10th canto, there's the appearance there in the dungeon of Kamsa and like that. So this is like the pre-appearance, just like today is the day before Janmashtami. And so it seems appropriate, and just as far as schedule, later today here at Gopal Eco Village, there will be a Krishna consciousness pre-Janmashtami enlightenment program starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow morning, Monday morning, is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Janma means appearance, and Ashtami means the 8th day of the moon, even though when Krishna appeared, the moon appeared full because the moon was so happy. It's actually true. And because Krishna appeared in the dynasty of Chandra, the dynasty of the moon. And so tomorrow we have a morning program with class beginning around 8 a.m. and also there'll be a Janmashtami celebration starting at 7 p.m. till feasting after midnight. It's kind of like the one day of the year where the Gaudiya Vaishnavas party till the wee hours, okay, like that, and that we're planning to make all of that available later today, tomorrow morning, and tomorrow night into early Tuesday morning, available on Zoom. So here, Prabhupada says this is the essence of initiation. Sometimes we think about initiation, so I'll read that again. So in the verse itself, so that Krishna was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Very poetic description. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, we should note carefully that the Lord was transferred to Devaki, not by the ordinary way for a human being, but by Diksha, initiation. There's different discussions about what is this, the Diksha. So initiation, Prabhupada uses the Sanskrit word Diksha. And so Diksha is a process. Diksha is a process, and this gets to the essence of it's the process of awakening to Krishna consciousness. It's the process of awakening to Krishna consciousness. And so Krishna is always in our heart. Sarvasya chaham ridisa nivisto. Krishna says, I am situated in everyone's heart. And Krishna is always loving us. Krishna, sometimes we'll hear like, well, I don't need to follow anything. I don't need to follow any rules or regulations because God loves me anyway. So kind of like, well, yeah, but that's not the point. Like, yeah, that's true. Krishna, of course, no matter what we do, Krishna is always loving us. Yeah. But so the question is, what are we doing to reciprocate that love? What are we doing to reciprocate that love and to endeavor to cultivate, to awaken our love for Krishna? Okay, and so the analogy is given just like a parent, kind of like, at least ideally, whatever a child does, the parent always loves the child. Well, that's true. But what is the child doing, whether as a toddler, a 5-year-old, a teenager, a 40-year-old? What's the child doing to reciprocate that love? Because we can say, whatever the child does, the parent loves the child. But can we say, whatever the child does, the parent is equally pleased? No, no. There are some things, let's say the child can, there are some things that the child could treat their sibling nicely and kindly, where the child can be mean and vicious to their sibling. The parent is not equally pleased. Okay, the child might still love and have compassion, but there's some things the child can do that endears them to the parent. Some things that the parent is upset about and angry about and lovingly chastises, like that. Okay. So Krishna is in our heart, and this process of initiation or bhakti or Krishna consciousness, this is a process of awakening our awareness, our loving awareness of Krishna in the heart. It is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nityasiddha Krishna Prabha Sajya Kabunoi, Shravanadi Shuddhachite Karye Udai. Love of Krishna is eternally situated in the hearts of all living entities. It's not something to be gained from some artificial external source, and it's awakened. Shravanadi Shuddhachite Karye Udai. It's awakened, well, in many ways, and the main way is by this process of hearing and chanting. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Vidanta Stoya Bhajani Vidunoti Saritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in the heart of all living entities and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, personally cleanses the heart from material desire. For the devotee who has developed the urge to hear the messages of Krishna, to hear and chant about Krishna, such messages, such vibrations are intrinsically virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So Krishna is like trillions of times more than we're wanting our own bliss. Krishna's wanting us to awaken our love for him, because that's his care as, let's say, the loving parent. That's his. He wants our bliss more than us, because he'll purify our heart. We just show a little desire. We chant with some sincerity. To the extent that we retain any forms of impurity, whether it's lust, anger, greed, jealousy, envy, deception, we're really giving ourselves no chance for clean, pure bliss and happiness. So this is the essence of the initiation process. Sometimes Prabhupada equates, he uses a Sanskrit term, divya gyan. We can see the English word divine in divya, or deva. That word's a deva. Right? I mean, it comes from the root divine, it comes from the Sanskrit. Divya gyan, transformational, transcendental knowledge. Transformational, transcendental knowledge that transforms the heart. And that's Krishna consciousness. That's Krishna consciousness. Now, this is a very deep philosophy. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, because Vasudeva gave her awakening of Krishna consciousness. And so that's why we sing to Prabhupada every morning. Divya Gan Ride Prokashito. You fill our heart with transcendental knowledge. You fill our heart with this transformational Krishna consciousness. So Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, this is the essence of initiation, not just some formal external ceremony. Of course, the formal external ceremony is also transcendentally inspiring if it's done properly, according to the system of disciplic succession, starting with Krishna himself. She became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart. So Lord Krishna is the original consciousness for everyone. And this is why, even though this bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, maybe it seems kind of foreign, this is weird, this is really strange, however it seems,
there's also a sense of this is like coming home. I don't know why, but this seems like so sweet and coming home, because this Krishna, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he's the very substratum of our existence. He's the foundation of our existence. You know, whether it's in coaching or counseling or therapy or seminars or coaching or coach training or wherever, you know, we talk a lot about like going deep to pierce through that which is superfluous and superficial. And so to the extent that we're thinking or relating, to the extent we lack realization of who we are as spirit, soul, not the body, then as deep as we go, it's shallow. It's just dealing with this superfluous illusion that I am this, that I am these dead chemicals, these dead chemicals. Of course, we don't want to ignore or disregard or neglect the vehicle. The vehicle is important, but just like, say, if we hear there's a car crash, we don't immediately ask, oh, could you get the insurance money for the car? Is it in the junkyard? No, we ask, was anyone injured? Did anyone die? Because the car has importance. This is the car. But the driver of the car is much more important. So if we hear, oh, there was no injuries, there was no fatalities, then we might ask, oh, could you fix the car? How much did it cost? But that's secondary. So this is the car, we take care of it. But much deeper is the actual soul. And, you know, we can get into this in more nuance. So like, it's like more subtle than the gross body, indriyani pranya or indriyabhir pramana, manasastu para bude, yo bude paratastusa. More subtle, deeper, you might say, than the external body is the material mind and intellect. More subtle than that is the material ego. And more subtle than that is the spirit soul. So to the extent that we have realization of who we are is not the body, not the mind, like the French philosopher Descartes, he did some analysis. And he came to the conclusion, I'm not the body. I think, therefore I am. He didn't seem to come to realization that he's not the mind. Just like I use my hand to pick up things. I'm not my hand, I use my hand. I use my mind to think. I'm not my mind. So, okay. But then, and I mean, this can get more and more fine in the distinctions, but then more subtle than the soul is the Paramatma, the super soul. More subtle than the super soul is the source of the super soul. It's the source of Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, and that's Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And we can go through the chapter of Vyuha. There's so many practically infinite levels of gradations. So Krishna is the original consciousness. Even we talk a lot about consciousness. Just I can see behind me, there's the sun. So like I'm getting this from Prabhupada. Hopefully everything I'm saying comes from Prabhupada. I hope so. That's why we say like Om Gana Timiranda Shalaka. Pray that everything I say represents Prabhupada accurately. Because Prabhupada, he's fully in the line of Vasudeva. But Prabhupada is essentially saying that unless one is initiated by the right person who always carries within his heart the supreme personality of Godhead, one cannot acquire the power to carry the supreme Godhead within the core of one's own heart. So Prabhupada is always carrying within his heart Sri Krishna. And so he's initiating us with transcendental knowledge by which we awaken our original Krishna consciousness. And so, yeah, just gets to the essence of the process of initiation. And so Prabhupada describes, he's a radiant analogy that just like we don't say shine, we don't say the shine, we say the sunshine, right? Because all light comes from the sun. All shining comes from the sun. So actually all consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Now we might not be aware of that, But Krishna is the source of all energies, including material energy, spiritual energy, marginal energy. Krishna is the source and the very foundation, just as the sun is the source of all shining. So we say sunshine. So actually, all consciousness is Krishna consciousness. All consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Now, we might not be aware of that, just like, okay, we might not see the sun, and in ignorance we may think, oh, the sun's not out today. But the sun's shining brightly, but our puny vision is covered by, a cloud which spreads 2 miles in the sky, the sun is this vast stellar body, so the sun is not covered by clouds. Our puny vision's covered by clouds. But take it even further, and even the clouds, Maya, that's the Maya, Krishna Soya Samamaya Andakar. Krishna is the sun, and Maya is the clouds, the darkness. So the clouds are created by the sun, right? Through evaporation from the oceans, right? The whole process there. So the clouds are created by the sun. So even if we're even to the extent we're not realizing Krishna consciousness, that illusion is also created by Krishna for particular loving purposes. So Prabhupada also sometimes will think in terms of like we're disconnected from Krishna. Prabhupada emphasizes we're always connected with Krishna. We've forgotten that we've connected. We've forgotten that we're connected, but we're always connected. And so this is an awakening process. This is an awakening process, awakening the consciousness, the love, the remembrance of Krishna that's already there. And we're awakened by serving and following and honoring the pure devotee of Krishna, for whom who's always carrying the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, such as Vasudeva or Devaki or Srila Prabhupada. So in a sense, all consciousness is Krishna consciousness. And so the encouragement, the recommendation here from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is to cultivate that awakening of consciousness, of Krishna consciousness, and to share it. A basic principle, we're not able to give that which we don't have. So to the extent that we're alive in that awakening, then we're capable and inspired to share. So Vasudeva, fully present and alive, Krishna in his heart, mind or heart, are used somewhat synonymously in this verse and purport, in his mind and heart, so not just the head, but his whole being. He's aware, he's alive in Krishna, his whole being, and he's sharing with Devaki. And we're getting to hear this spoken by Srila Shukadeva Goswami. And so Prabhupada mentions there's the form of Krishna, and the form of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Okay, it's like that's the meaning of absolute. That's the meaning of spiritual. It means there's no material duality. So Krishna is present in his form, his pastimes. So we're associating with Krishna as we're hearing the pastimes of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. Namo Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashuddho Nityamukto Binat Van Namanamina. Krishna is identical with his name. Okay, the difference Prabhupada sometimes uses is just like if I'm thirsty and I chant water, 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 I'll notice I'm still thirsty because there's a difference between the name and the substance. But we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we, the soul, yesterday Nitya Gopal made nice distinctions in response to a question I asked between, Krishna protects his devotees, and to the extent we identify with the body, we can think of that in bodily terms. To the extent we identify with the mind, we can think of that in mental terms. To the extent that I identify with my false material ego, So Krishna will protect my reputation. That's what it means. To the extent that we realize ourselves as Jivara Supoi Krishnera Nichidas Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Beta Beta Prakash. I'm not the body. I'm not the subtle material body. I'm eternal spirit soul, servant of Krishna. Servant of Krishna. And so then we chant Hare Krishna. We hear the pastimes of Krishna. We see the form of Krishna, and we experience this is all Dham. This is all the place of Krishna, and then the soul is completely satisfied. Savaya Bhum Sam Paro Dharmo Eto Bhaktirat Hokshaje Ahau Tukya Pratyata Yayatma Suprasidati. That the supreme occupation for all living entities is that which inspires attraction to do bhakti, to serve God, serve Krishna with love and devotion. If whatever we're doing in the name of friendship, in the name of making money, in the name of career, in the name of life purpose, in the name of recreation, if it's not bringing us to deeper enthusiasm to serve Krishna, chant Krishna's name, hear Bhagavatam, then Shrama Eve Kevalam, it's a useless waste of time. And to the extent that such service is ahetukya pratyata, steady, unmotivated, uninterrupted, then we're completely satisfied, unlike any material sound vibration or material activity. There's a text in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, just like here in the 10th canto. And the 6th canto, especially the beginning, it's a whole lot about the power of the names of Krishna. That's the beginning of the 6th canto. The pastimes of Ajamil, like that, and the Yamadutas. And Shukadev Goswami, he says, Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnur, Jagan Mangalam Amhasam. And I'm remembering that verse because this verse is used here, Jagat Mangalam, auspiciousness for all living entities in all the universes of the creation. Matam apikuravyam Vijayakanti Niskritam. Sukadev Goswami says that the chanting of the names of Krishna can uproot the reactions of even the greatest sins. And so the chanting of this Hare Krishna Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Again, very similar to here, it talks about all of the universes. Auspiciousness for all living entities in all the universes of the creation. And then Shukadeva Goswami says to Maharaj Parikshit, so please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously, right? So to the extent that we're convinced and we're deep in realization and we're living our lives as a testimony to the truth of Krishna consciousness, then others will take it seriously. So Shukadeva Goswami, he implores Maharaj Parikshit, who's of course already a pure devotee of Krishna. And so to the extent that we've given up any attachment to needs for, well, what will people think if they see me chanting Hare Krishna? What will people think if they think that I'm really taking Bhagavad Gita seriously? Ooh, like that. So to the extent that we're convinced with our intellect and Krishna is alive in our heart and the truths of bhakti are alive, and that comes through in all of our actions. The sattvic nature and the sweetness and depth of Krishna consciousness comes through. Sometimes we'd hear about Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes like someone in there, they just come and they would come to the temple. They would just see how Srila Prabhupada would take a sip of water. And they would just say like they've never seen anyone move like that. And then they would just know like, yeah, I want to hear from this person. I want to follow this person. So that we don't want to imitate Srila Prabhupada, but we want to cultivate Krishna consciousness and share it. cultivate and share it, and you know, we have the opportunity to create deeper and deeper conviction that this is the most auspicious way we can use our life. We want to help people. This is the most auspicious way we can help people. Okay, to use our intelligence, how to share these truths from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. This is a special series of days. Sri Krishna Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada's appearance day called Vyasa Puja, because he's representing Srila Vyasadeva, the original compiler of the Vedas. A special series of days to examine, to introspect, how committed am I to cultivate Krishna consciousness and share it, cultivate self-realization, bhakti yoga, and share how committed am I, and where do I want to go in the next year towards the closure of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna describes that nacha tasmat manusheshu kashchin me priyakritama bhavitat nacha me tasmat anya priyataro. He says, one who following in the line of Sri Vasudeva, as explicitly described in this verse, one who shares this, one who shares this with others and is dedicated to being an instrument to awaken the natural Krishna consciousness in the hearts of all living entities. Krishna says, such a soul is especially dear to me. Again, using the parent-child analogy, the children are dear to the parents, and there are some things the children can do that endear them in special ways to the parent. So we want to endear ourselves to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada, and then we can dedicate ourselves to cultivating Krishna consciousness and sharing it, using our intelligence, how to share it according to the person, time, circumstance, group, like that. So I'll read the verse again, and then I'll be glad to hear any questions, comments, discussion. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2. And this, the full title of this chapter is Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Text 18. Tato Jagan Mangalam Achutam Sham Samahitam Sura Surutena Devi Tadhara Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam Kastayatananda Karam Manasta. Translation: thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Hare Krishna, thanks for giving your attention to Srimad Bhagavatam. I welcome at this time any questions, comments, any sharing, realizations from anyone. Nityagopal Prabhu.
So thank you very much for the wonderful class, Prabhu, and I really appreciate how you bring this point out of transferring of Krishna from the heart of Vasudeva to the heart of Devaki. And also, similarly, a guru also transfer Krishna from his heart to disciple's heart.
Yeah.
And the beautiful prayer which comes to my mind is that our disciple is praying to Guru. Krishna se tomara tumi dite paro तुम्हारा सकती आचे आमी तो कंगाल कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली पाई तुम्ही पाचे पाचे, which means that Krishna belongs to Prabhupada and Krishna belongs to Guru, spiritual master. Krishna se tomara, and you have the power to give Krishna. Krishna dite paro, and because of that I'm just running after you. So in that way, I'm running after your instructions. So more we are running after Prabhupada's instructions, more Prabhupada will give us Krishna. Ami to Kangala, Krishna Krishna Boli. I am a completely bankrupted. I don't have anything.
Mhm.
Ami to Kangala, Krishna Boli. Pai tumhare pache pache. I am after you. I am behind you. I am running after you. You have Krishna, and you only can give me Krishna. That's a beautiful mood which
Yeah,
I am
beautiful.
remembering, that how Srila Prabhupada had Krishna and he only can give us Krishna. And interestingly, this similarity of husband giving Krishna to wife
Yeah,
is a very common theme which you find in Bhagavatam.
yeah,
Even in the case of Devahuti from Kardama Muni.
yeah,
So Devahuti was a very chaste, very loving wife to Kardama Muni. And after becoming pleased from the service of Devahuti, Kardama Muni transfers Krishna
yeah.
in the heart of Devahuti.
Same, very similar pastimes.
Similar pastime.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kapila Muni was born. So, how the wife become very chaste and how the wife become very obedient to the husband, in a similar way, when a disciple becomes very chaste and very obedient to the spiritual master, so we can get Krishna from Srila Prabhupada in that particular way.
Yeah.
That's a mood of a wife, to be completely surrendered, to be completely chaste, to be completely loyal. And if I can think, so, oh, I love my husband, at the same time I also love some other husbands, some other women's. Yeah, you may love some other men, but that wouldn't show the complete chastity.
Mm.
Similarly, we also can say, yes, I accept Prabhupada as my spiritual master, but I also accept somebody as my spiritual master or somebody as my guru.
Yeah.
If there is, unless there's a chastity, like a wife will be completely chaste, and wife knows that whatever is needed for my sustenance, for my pleasure, will come from my husband. Similarly, when we think that whatever I need for my spiritual life, all that will be coming from Srila Prabhupada, that level of chastity, when it's there, then Srila Prabhupada will bless us with Krishna. And another point which is coming to my mind is that when Krishna gave himself through his pure devotee, I see that in a very common theme in Bhagavatam, the devotee would be in too much of pain and challenges. Like Devaki she's in a prison house.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the prison house, she's becoming very beautiful, she's becoming very effulgent, and Prabhupada says in the purport that the beauty was confined in the prison house of Kamsa.
Yeah.
So similarly, we also, in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, he was in too much of trouble by his father. That time Narasimhadev came.
Yeah, right.
Even an example of Draupadi, she was in about to be disrobed, and respect is more power, this thing than the life. So she was being disrobed, her respect was being taken away. That time Krishna came. So in all these examples, like some sort of a simile in our life also, when we get more and more Krishna, so when we are in the toughest phase of our life, that is when Krishna will give us the most. So that is another beautiful example.
Thanks for that. Yeah, all these examples you gave, the pure devotees are in very disturbing, distressing conditions. Then the complete surrender in Krishna appears.
Krishna appears. And also the point which you made that yes, Krishna loves us, and so how we are reciprocating to that love.
Yeah.
So for me also, if I have to experience somebody's love, I have to see that person's heart. And if I see person's heart, then I will also see person's desire. And if we want to really experience Krishna's love, yeah, Krishna loves us. But how much are we able to experience it?
Yeah.
So Krishna loves us fully.
Yeah.
But we can experience Krishna's love only when we reciprocate with Krishna's love. Only when we give Krishna what he wants, that is connection to him, service to him, and things like that. And also that love experience is one thing, and second thing is how do we expand that love?
Yeah.
And that love can be expanded only by reciprocation.
Mm.
So Krishna loves us fully. How do I experience it and how to expand it depends on my reciprocation with it.
Yeah. Thanks for all those points. Thank you for all those points relating to Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual master Krishna. Because it's one thing. Krishna's always loving us. What am I doing to try to reciprocate, to try to cultivate love for Krishna? And then even Krishna's loving us, but I'm not aware of that. I'm not experiencing it if I'm not doing anything that shows sincerity for reciprocation. And then the point, I like your point about that's what it means that Srila Prabhupada is our current link, at least speaking for myself. And I know for you too, Srila Prabhupada is our current direct living link to Krishna's disciplic succession from para. From means one after the other. And so it means that there are so many gurus. There's a lot of cheating in the name of guru to demystify. Guru means teacher. Okay, of course the Bhagavatam describes how like dozens of ways, hundreds of ways, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, how nature, the tree is our guru, the blade of grass is our guru. Yeah, that's all true. And then at the same time, like previous acharyas and great, just like you quoted previous Vaishnava acharyas in the Bengali. I'm just running after my guru just to try to get some instructions because the guru is carrying Krishna in the heart like Vasudeva. So we understand all of their teachings through our current link. So whether I'm reading Jiva Goswami Sundarbas or The Interior Castle by Saint Teresa, or a personal growth book by a personal growth author, or I'm reading about social science or psychology. Yeah. So I'm endeavoring to see, receive, and process it and realize it through the pure lenses of Srila Prabhupada. And in that way, sure, Krishna is consciousness, Krishna is all energy. So the question is, how much realization do I have that Krishna is everywhere? And to the extent that I'm truly receiving everything, all my sight, all my hearing, whatever I hear through the pure lenses of my current link to the Parampara Srila Prabhupada, then I'm realizing God everywhere. Otherwise, it's just theoretical, and I can associate with this book, and this one says that, and I just become more and more illusioned. Thanks for all the points. Any other sharing, questions, comments at this time? Yeah, so we'll bring our class and discussion to a close. Rosa.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't raise my hand fast enough. I remember a discussion from either last week or the week before where some people were discussing receiving criticism because our guru doesn't have a living body. So my question is, what does initiation look like in our situation?
Initiation. Okay. Thank you for your question, Rosa. Yeah, so you have begun your process of initiation, right? You're beginning to hear from Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, and you're beginning, and your consciousness is beginning to transform towards Krishna consciousness. We need, like, if we put a pot of milk on the stove, once we put the milk on the fire, we can say the milk is boiling, meaning the milk's in the process of boiling. Okay, then it comes to more of a boil, maybe it comes to a royal, and then at some point it reaches whatever the temperature is that milk officially boils. Then we can say, now the milk's boiling. And then even a minute and 10 minutes later, we can still say the milk's boiling, meaning it's in the process, So the essence of initiation is receiving this transcendental knowledge, and we qualify ourselves to receive it by giving our hearing process to receive this knowledge, and then we become more and more towards boiling, to the extent that we commit ourselves to this process, commit ourselves to follow the process, and then that we're chased to the process, as Nichigopal shared. We're chased to the process, then we qualify ourselves more and more to receive this transcendental knowledge. That's the essence of initiation. That's it. And okay, then at some point, we might choose to participate in a formal ceremony of initiation. At some point, when it's called the Bhajana Kriya part of the process, Bhajana Kriya part of the process, and then there's a formal ceremony, including formal. When I say formal, I don't mean mundane or material or shallow. When the formal aspects are done according to Srila Prabhupada's guidance, they're fully, powerfully deep and transcendental. And so in the formal process, in the formal aspect of initiation, then the initiate receives a Vaishnav name, like my name's David Wolf. David is also a spiritual name. David means the beloved of God from the Bible. And then my initiated Vaishnav name is Dhira Govinda Das. Here's Nitya Gopal Das, Rampra Das, Rukmini Devi Dasi, Hari Gopal Das, like that. Garuda Das, like that. So all of the initiated names essentially mean servant of Krishna. Devi Dasi or Das means servant, and all the names mean Krishna or a devotee of Krishna. So then we get our Vaishnav name. So Srila Prabhupada set up a system. Well, he just like in this verse where we focus today, he really gives the essence of initiation. Vasudeva initiated Devaki. That's Diksha through giving Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada gives us Krishna through the holy names, through chanting Hare Krishna, through his books. He can come in dreams, through his representatives, just like I'm endeavoring to represent Prabhupada in this class and discussion. And then Prabhupada set up a system for the formal aspects of initiation that even before he departed on November 14th, 1977, he set up a system where he conducted all of the formal aspects of initiation, not directly, but through his representatives, with Srila Prabhupada as the Diksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada as the initiator. So he set up a system where his representatives selected the spiritual name, his representatives chanted on the beads of initiation, his representatives conducted the ceremony like that. And so initiation is a process, and you are already in that process, whether you knew it or not, Rosa, you are already in that process of initiation. And then at some point, the formal aspects of the process of initiation are fully transcendental. They're not essential. At the same time, they are part of the process that Srila Prabhupada gave to us. Does that begin to respond to your question, Rosa?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosa. Thanks for your question. Any other comments or questions? Okay.
And also the point of initiation, what you were mentioning, that initiation means that the milk is starting to boil.
Yeah.
And the example comes to my mind is when you take admission in, like say in college, you have initiated your education.
Yeah.
It does not mean you have got a degree. As soon as you enter into the college, you started to become initiated in that particular school.
Yeah, thanks for
So
that.
initiation means it's starting, initiate, it's
Starting,
starting.
yeah.
Starting of spiritual life is initiation.
Yeah, yeah, right. Even, let's take that analogy a little further. Even at the graduation from college, when you have a degree, that's called the commencement. And commencement means to begin something. So the idea is, at the commencement, read the idea. It's an interesting English usage. The idea, okay, now you're getting it. It's like a formal ceremony. And just like, essentially, the idea of going through education and university isn't to get that diploma. The idea is because we love knowledge. I mean, in principle. Nowadays, people, I want to get my business degree so I can make this much money. Okay, but ideally, the idea is it's for love of knowledge. And then at some point, naturally, you participate in a ceremony and you get your diploma. And that ceremony is called a commencement, which means, again, ideally, this is just the beginning of my cultivation of knowledge for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of the world. So similarly, we can, the boiling the milk analogy, the spiritual initiation. So yeah, so you're in the process, we're all in the process with milk boiling at different levels of intensity. And then at some point, there could be like, okay, here's the formal initiation. And that's to begin and to initiate, to begin. That's a commencement. The idea is the formal initiation is not like, and Prabhupada will sometimes caution against this. Now I'm initiated, whatever, I can do whatever I want. No, Prabhupada, he was aware of that mentality. He said, no, initiation, that's a time to redouble and triple your dedication and commitment to boil the milk even more ferociously. Hare Krishna.
May I ask another question?
Yes.
So in that other discussion, there was mention of being reinitiated. For what purpose does someone do this if they believe they have perhaps started to follow a false guru and then they change and that sort of thing? Or
Thanks for your question. Srila Prabhupada, as you know, he gave us dozens and dozens of books. I consider like 54 major volumes and dozens of other volumes. And he wrote 10,000 letters and gave thousands and thousands of lectures and just tens of thousands of pages of transcribed and recorded conversations and so many legal documents. So importantly, Srila Prabhupada never once mentioned reinitiation. In a sense, that's all I want to say about it. So, but once you get into reinitiation, you're getting into something that's not Srila Prabhupada. It's a concoction, at least in the context of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. So if we follow, the reason Prabhupada never, ever, ever, not once ever mentioned reinitiation, and I can tell you in other places where they're presenting bhakti, you'll hear about reinitiation, hundreds and thousands. You just hear about it all the time. Okay, but it's not Prabhupada. That's what I want to convey. So, because Srila Prabhupada gave us a system where we're in this system, there's absolutely never ever any cause or reason for anything called reinitiation. And again, Prabhupada gave us the system fully aligned with Vasudeva, Devaki, and Sri Krishna for essential initiation and a process for formal initiation. And we follow that and serve that and honor that. Then there's just no reason for reinitiation or even to discuss it. Similarly, you'll hear a lot here, you need a living guru. Maybe some of you have heard me said, you need a living guru and a living spiritual master. Let's study all of the hundreds and thousands of pages from all of Prabhupada's teachings, whether in the form of books, writings, lectures. And if we look at what Prabhupada says about living guru and living spiritual master, we'll find he never, ever, ever uses those terms. Because if we follow Prabhupada, living guru implies there's something called a dead guru. I prefer my gurus living, not dead. Okay, it's just okay. So this is not Vaishnavism in the line of Prabhupada, reinitiation, or needing to talk about living guru or living spiritual master. Spiritual master means living. I'm quoting Prabhupada directly there. Does that respond to your question?
yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rosen. I'll read the verse one more time. Canto 10, chapter 2, text 18. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent supreme personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you for your attention and association. Hare Krishna.